All right, and we are live unlisted. Hello everybody. My jury, welcome to our jury roundtable. Tonight we will be talking about the merits and shortcomings and overall game of the final two, Roberto and Staten. But first, I'm going to introduce our moderator for the night. He's an icon. He's been around the org community for years, one of the best strategists I personally know. Please welcome Andrew Denson. And some of you have also played against him, but he is here to help moderate and flow this conversation as easily as possible. But other than that, yeah, here we go. Denson, you have the floor.
All right. Well, one, thank you for having me. I really appreciate that. Everyone can hear me. Yeah. Okay. Well, one, congrats on making it to this part of the game. I know that it sucks. I have been on the jury for most of my games. Um, but I'm hoping that you guys have had some time to decompress with whatever has happened so far in the game. So just to get us started, if anyone wants to just kind of talk about how they feel the finalists, each finalist got to the end of the game, just from your perspective, you can go right ahead. The floor is open. Anyone? Okay, so we're not gonna just okay, Gigi. Okay, thank you, Gigi.
You're welcome. So how they got to this point is what you're asking?
Yes, from your perspective, how did the finalists get to this point? From your perspective.
Okay, so for me, I felt they both had solid social games. I feel they were able to make the connections they needed to make to get to this point. Also, there were competitions that they had played and were able to do well in to help them get here too. I do feel that they could have spoke a little bit more to people. I feel that they still because Roberto was busy at times because I'm gonna say this, he works overnight at a casino, and that's how me and him connected. And that's why I didn't even want to touch him. I didn't want to vote him out because we connected well, and I felt he had my back. So yeah, I didn't want him gone. So I see why he's where he's at. And then Staten, this was the very first time that me and Staten got to play together and actually work together in a game. So I'm sorry, there's like somebody's doing cutting grass or something behind me, so you might be hearing it. But um, no, this was the first time me and Staten were able to work together in a game finally over these 7, 8 years. So I finally had a chance to get to know him more also and have the opportunity to see him play because I already know he's really good with comps and stuff. He's a strong player when he can be and when he's around. So I actually see why both are where they're at right now.
So,
Am I able
Gigi, I
to
want
add onto that real quick? Sorry.
to. Oh, yeah, no, Jay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I know just from I think game wise, I think Gianna was a lot closer to Staten than most people were. So I think she would have a lot of good to say with Staten regarding that. But I'll say for me at least, I know just from my perspective at least, those two very much did a good job of, I guess, being either in the middle or finding people that they could trust and work with and like not being the biggest target, I would say. Like I know from my perspective, I think, and I could be wrong with this, but I think Roberto lined us up with Timmy, who I thought was one of the biggest threats in the entire game, which was a smart move on his part because Timmy was someone who I obviously targeted during my HOH, obviously, and was someone that like even he won a lot of challenges, stuff like that. So props to Timmy. But my thing was for Roberto, like Timmy was a great social player. So if I was taking a shot at that side, I would go after Timmy first rather than Roberto. So Ryan Roberto did a good job of making himself be in a good spot in the game to where he always had someone above him that was a bigger threat than he was. That way he was never the threat that was targeted on their side. And Staten wide, as for Berkeley, so for Staten, I would say like for me at least, he was very much I would say like a someone that came alive later in the game. I think first, honestly, for me at least 75% of the game, he was very much just like go with the flow. Hey, as long as it's not me, I don't care what happens. I'll go with the numbers here. I'm active enough to where I'm not gonna be inactive because there's a lot of people that were left out or voted out early because they were just the easy inactive votes. But he was also not someone that was, I guess, gaming too hard to where it's like we have to get this guy because he's just gaming nonstop. So for the first part of the game, he was probably for the first 75, 80% of the game. I think he was very much just like go with the flow. Then he kind of turned on his like Josh said, his very much like competition ability, and social ability, like I guess down the stretch and kind of took that, I guess, immunity run by storm and kind of made himself got himself to the end, which I give him props for. That's something we all couldn't do.
And so I want to go back to Gigi for a second, Jake. I want to talk about something you said as well, but Gigi, and the floor is open for this. You mentioned that they both had great social games with most people and limited with other folks. Do you want to outright say, hey, these people were good with these people were not good with these, and it shows from the jury, or do you not want to put people's names out there like that?
Not saying I don't want to put people's names out there, but I know there were some that felt that they weren't as close to them as, because I know with me, I felt I was close to both of them, even though they both. Well, no, Staten was on the block with me, but Roberto voted me out, and they made it seem like they wanted to keep me the round I went out, because I literally I was out unanimous 6-0, so I was shocked. I was still shocked because they made it seem like it was gonna maybe be a close vote. Um, so I know I felt I was close to both of them, but I don't know for sure out of the jury who felt they were semi close to them or not. So I don't want to say wrong names, and they might have been close. So I'm not sure.
Okay, so any of the jury that are here, did you feel like you were at least somewhat socially close with both of the finalists?
I would say there was a time in the game where I felt like I was close with Roberto. Um, there was a point in time where I thought Roberto was like my like if not my number one, my very, very close number two, whatever in the game. And it came from me to where I was hearing we were in an alliance together with Cake, and it was me, Cake, Eric, and Roberto. And there was a point in the game where was hearing like Roberto was throwing out either my name or Eric's name. I'm just like either him or Cake were. I'm just like, what is this about? Like, why am I hearing my name from? Apparently, you're hearing my name. So I confront him about it, and like there was like he was like I didn't see your names and stuff like that. So for him at least, there was a little bit of like I guess hesitation on like to trust me after that, regardless. Which makes sense. But like I'm just saying like I don't know where if that was true or not, or if it wasn't if it was true and he was going for me, but like why would that be? So I don't know where the distrust came from because that was before merge. But just I don't know what the intention was for that, or if it was an intention at all, what the point was. And for Staten, we were never really too close. We mainly just talked about like just baseline stuff like football stuff like that. But I would say out of the two, I was closer to Roberto of the two.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, with however many people we play within these games, it is hard to have a definitive, real relationship with everybody here because there are so many people, and because we're not playing in a real game, we have our real lives that we have to go to as well. So most of us pick 8, 9 people that we talk to, maybe less. So it's always interesting to see the relationships that the jury have with the finalists because the finalists get there and because the finalists almost always say they played a great social game to see how social they were with the jurors they're going to eventually vote for them. Um, Jake, I want to go to you for a second here. Merge the jury phase of the game. Did you ever feel like either one of them were like, this is it, like we can do what we are going to the end together, period? Like was there ever that moment, or did you feel like, because I know you brought up other
That's
names earlier and
yeah.
how you wanted certain folks out at certain points, did you ever feel like one of the two of them were, oh, we're definitely going?
So that's where I was actually I wanted to. That's one of my I guess one of my biggest I'll say icks or just like things that's like in kind of like in the game that I'm kind of like not sure about because it's just kind of like jury management for me because like Gianna, I was also unanimous. So I was a 7-0 vote. So my thing was, and my during my vote out, I didn't hear one bleep from. I mean, I heard stuff from Haley reached out to me, Sabrina reached out to me, um, and Eric who was on the block with me reached out to me as well. But other than that, like so Roberto and Stain did not reach out to me at all during my time on the block when I left. So I'm just like, even if they were saying like I'm in a tough spot, I'm gonna have to vote you because which is what Haley and Samira did, which I'm fine with. But the thing I'm just like they didn't even reach out once to me during my on the block time where I went home. So I'm just like, if you're trying to jury manage and get my vote at the end, why should I give you my vote? Because during I would say post merge, I know that Roberto, I guess, was going for me because he was working with Timmy, who was also, I guess, not on my side. So strictly, I was the long hill. I guess he was going against me. But I would say even on my phase, like when I was on the block, like neither one reached out to me. So I'm just like, why should you guys deserve my vote if when I was on the block, none of you guys even had the decency to kind of reach out to me, even to just like, hey, like, I'm in a tough spot. Here's what my kind of game plan going into this is. Like, here's what I've been hearing. So yeah, I would just say like I didn't feel at any point in the game to answer your question that either felt like that they want to go down with me at all. If that answers your question.
No, and it does. And I will say, if one of them either
Yeah,
one of them had reached out to you, would your mind just be 100% made up for your vote for the
I
finale?
think I'll be honest. I think it would be because I think for me at least, even if I don't want to work with somebody in the game, I'm going to reach out to you regardless. It's like, hey, like I'm in a tough spot here, and like here's kind of what my consensus is of what my decision is. Even if it's something that you don't like. I know I've been in this game very much like a straightforward, honest person, so that's just who I am. Like I will tell you if I'm not working with you, like hey, like I'm not just going to like not talk to you if we're on the opposite side. Like even with Timmy, who I guess like we were just on the opposite sides the entire game. I was like, Timmy's gonna see stuff in my confessionals. Like I was calling like in my shit list. That's all my confessionals wise. He's gonna see that. That's all in the thing, whatever. But it's just like I'm still gonna reach out to this person regardless because I'm going. If I'm asking for the vote in the end, I don't want to have it to be like, hey, I didn't talk to you all game. Now I'm gonna ask for your vote. Just, for me, it sounds like very much insincere and weird. So it's like I'm always gonna reach out to this person regardless if I'm on their side or not because I'm asking for the vote at the end of the game, and that's kind of where I'm like neither one did. So it's kind of just like I'm kind of questioning both their jury management, even if they were not on my side per se.
So before we went live, Benji had mentioned to me that, and you just reiterate. Oh, both of you has just reiterated it with your boots. How a lot of the boots this season have been either unanimous or damn near unanimous.
Yeah.
At any point during all of that, and it's kind of piggybacking off the last question I asked you, did you ever feel like, okay, yeah, I'm voting a majority here, but that's because I'm actually in? Or did you always like? I guess where I'm going with this is, did you ever feel like either of the finalists or both of the finalists were odd person out? Did you think you were higher than them on any type of hierarchy that you saw in the game?
Is this to me again?
This is to the floor. This is whoever wants to answer it.
I mean, I can answer it if you want. At least I can put something in. Something else can add on to if they want to. But I would just say, at least for me, like I will say, I don't think there was like a hierarchy. I would say I don't think. I think it was if you could find a group of people. So if the numbers you need were like 5 or 6, hey, I need 5 numbers. I used to say it's a good thing like voting blocks. Like I need 5 for this vote. If we can get 5 on this vote, then we're good for next vote. I don't think there was like okay, he's the one, she's the two, or he's the one, or she's the one, he's the two type of thing. I think it was just kind of like if you can get 5 or 6 for his vote, we could ride with this for this numbers and go for this person. Um, so I don't think there was a hierarchy. I would say for each vote.
And at any point, did you think that either of the finalists? Well, okay, so hierarchy maybe have been the. Did you ever feel like either of the finalists were ever below you in a game sense? Like, oh yeah, I know more of what's going on than these two or one of these two.
I think I was kind of I thought I was in a good spot in the game. And obviously, like my vote of being 7-0 kind of was just like, damn, like I really did not have the allies I thought in the game. So I think for me, it was just kind of like, I thought, even though I know Eric had a lot of allies in the game, I'm like, I was expecting at least maybe like, a 4-3, 5-2 vote. I didn't expect a 7, but that kind of took me by storm because even like my closest allies voted for me. I was just like, I don't know if I can even be in a spot to say that I knew they were in a better spot or lower spot than I was because even for my own votes, I was confused of how the votes went down. So I think I would say they both were higher up than I was, honestly.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, the me and Jake nom shocked me. I was thinking that it was gonna be either split or I was going home. So the fact that it was unanimous was crazy to me. And then yeah, I don't want to like interrupt Jake.
No,
That gagged me.
this is as open of a forum as possible, and so going based off of that. So did you hear my initial question about
The social games.
well, not that initial the question about the fact that it was Yunnan a lot of the time or close to Yunnan a lot of the time. Did you feel like there was a hierarchy in the game? Did you feel like you were on top of that and then you got caught off guard? Did you feel like there was a solid group of people that were stirring the game? And at any point, did you feel like you were on top of that?
Honestly, no to the hierarchy. I feel, well, as I think everyone can agree, that I was quite frequently inactive. And so when I would log on days where it's like, we have eviction tonight, I would just be like, what's going on? And then the two, like, I would just kind of do, to me, the way I voted was just like, everyone's saying it's going to be person A. Why would I vote person B when the numbers just quite literally aren't there? Let me just vote A and make everybody happy. And not that, I mean, I feel like if I did vote person B, I could probably spin it and be like it wasn't me because they wouldn't know. But at the same time, it's like why? I mean, that chaos could have been good for my game, but I didn't play it.
And I'm not one to be opposed to doing something chaotic here and there. I mean, I'm a very anti-chaotic player for the most part, but every now and then it is fun to just throw a vote there and just like cause some paranoia just to like get the eyes off of you or people that you're
Yeah.
working with. Why do you think that that didn't happen predominantly in this season? Once again, this is an open forum question. Why do you think that it was pretty straightforward for a lot of it? Do you feel like at any point in the game that y'all, whoever, could have done that and changed the outcome of what we're going to get when it comes to the finale?
I do. I do
How,
because
how so?
I think we go back for, at least for me, it was the merge boot. Like Seb was the merge boot. That was the where I was actually the one time I was at HOH. That was the time I was the HOH, and my noms were Timmy and Evelyn, and it was strictly because Evelyn, I know was, I guess, saying my name at points of the game, and Timmy threw me on the block with Eric, so of course I was going to say his name, and I would say at that point during veto, um, Kathy, who was one of my closest allies in the game, won the game, but felt like she needed to make a move for her own side in the game, so she used the veto to take off um, Timmy from the block, and Seb, who was someone who was not on my side, but someone that I guess didn't um was not on my radar of like someone that wanted me out. So me having to nom him made him very much like, I guess, be brass against me and like upset me, which obviously he should be because I put him on the block. So I think that move, if Kathy would have just kept nom the same, everyone, I think, and I don't know about everyone, but I think everyone kind of wanted Timmy out of the game at that point. I think it would have been a pretty easy vote to get Timmy out of the game. And I think because I think after Seb went home, they gave control to the other side of the house. So I think there was very much like I went gone, then Kathy, then Eric, then literally our entire side of the house went down after that vote, and Haley was the last straw to fall with our side of the house going down. So I think if that vote was different, team went home first. I think our side with like me, Eric, Kathy, Haley, we would have ran the rest of the house, and you would have seen a different outcome where maybe not, it might not be Roberto and staying at the end. It might be two different people at the end because I think we gave the entire house, the other side of the house, power after that vote out.
Anyone else before I move on?
Hey Denson, I don't know if you see the oh, you might not be able
The
to. Hold on.
chat?
Yeah.
Haley said that I
Yeah, if
agree
we
with
could
that.
just
Yeah.
read those out as well.
Yeah. So we have okay. I think that was a lot of our thought processes with Eric, and I agree. I'm sorry. Yeah, because I'm doing this from my phone, I'm trying to. Yeah, I will do better. Um, but before I move on, did anyone else want to touch that on that subject? Okay, so moving on. We've all done a lot of these, or none of these, or somewhere in between. We have a lot of experience with different types of players. Without saying how you're leaning right now or anything like that, for you personally, for the jurors that we have here, what's the one thing that you value the most in a player, And do you always vote 100% for the person that has that quality, or do you still go in open minded? So the question is, this two-part question: what do you value most in a player, and do you always vote for that player to win? Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I think with Big Brother, this is my first Big Brother org. I think obviously HOH is such a big thing. Like, yeah, you are a comp beast, but also I think it's like a social thing because right now, compared to Roberto, I would say Staten's more good at the comp. Like, he's probably won more competitions if I remember correctly. But I just don't think his social game was there for me personally. Like, him and I just did not talk until the last part of it, but Roberto has always been there, um, like kind of just like chatting with me. And then to touch on like the social game of his, I feel like he saw that my allies were like boom, boom, boom knocked out. And I think he took advantage of that with me because then the chats were there, the alliances were there, and then they didn't play off because I went home. Um, so I don't know. It's like I think Roberto played a better game whole with me than Staten. But also, I need to look past that Roberto burned me because we all get burned essentially. Um, but yeah, I think I'm looking more at the social side because I think Staten's more of the comp winner, but I don't think enough was there towards the very end to win this game, and that's just me.
I'll say for me, Staten was very dry at the beginning. Like it was so hard to have conversations with him. Once merge happened, he did talk more, like actual game talk, actually like said stuff to me. But Roberto from the beginning, like his social game was so well put together. Roberto would talk to anybody. Like I would talk to Roberto on calls at 6 in the morning because that's when he would be getting home from work. That's when it worked for me. But Roberto knew when to switch his alliances. Like, he made an alliance chat with Eric and I when he needed it. And obviously, Eric and I both got burned, but we trusted Roberto enough. And he knew how to do that. Like, he knew how to get people on his side and do like what he wanted for the game.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Oh.
I do think I agree with both Haley and Eric, like almost exactly the point where I will say I agree with Eric in regard to the fact that, like, I think as a first time Big Brother player as well, for me at least, I put more effort into the social game since it is Big Brother. I would say a lot for me. I would say it's if you're a social player, that holds more capital to me than winning comps. And I would say going on to what Haley said about I kind of agree with her take. Like, Staten was the better, I guess, physical player, but I think Roberto made a lot more connection wise with with everyone on the cast. And I would say even for myself, I felt at one point a very genuine connection with Roberto that I did not feel at all with Staten. So like even at one point, even though Roberto burned me and like went against me and voted me out, like I'm not gonna hold that against him because at one point Roberto made that effort and social thing to have me to where I had a lot of trust in it all. Where Staten was just very much just like I didn't have much trust in him. Whether I was, I think that's my own fault too. Like I should have reached out more to him, but it's also I guess a two-way street in that regard as well. So I think there was just more effort, and I felt more of a genuine connection with Roberto than at any point with Staten at all. So that's my one message to that.
All right. So with me, this is gonna be a hard vote for me because I feel like I connected with both of them. I personally went to stay in and wanted to make sure that me and him were able to finally play the game together, work together, that sort of thing. Because every time, like I said before, every time that um me and Staten would play together, we'd be on opposite sides and everything. So I made a point to make sure that me and him were able to work together this game. And then the fact that me and Roberto connected on like working overnights at a casino and just really getting to know each other. Um yeah, that I connected with him in that sense too. So this is gonna be a hard vote for me, but usually what I do, I try to see um who I felt was close, like actually had my back more in the game in a way, at least not just thought about their games, but thought about my games too. I kind of like to look at that a lot. Um, but at the same time, I'm gonna be very open minded. I want to hear their speeches. I want to hear what moves they made, what they felt they could have worked on. So I'm willing to listen to everything before I make my vote.
I guess going off of that, does anyone have their minds 100% made up? I'm voting for this person. Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Um, I feel like a lot of people kind of go into final whatever it's called in Big Brother and bullshit and say, "Oh, I don't know what I'm voting," and they always know what they're voting. But I do believe, based off of this conversation, I do believe y'all. So talking more about the finalists, it does kind of seem like one person has had more of a social game longer in the game than the other. So going to Satan, because a lot of y'all have mentioned the fact that kind of turned the game on late, should that hinder anything that he anything that happened later in the game, or is that a I guess is that a good strategy to have for you personally? Do you respect that type of game?
I'll say I respect it. I'll say I do respect the game that like he had, where it's like the first part of the game, you don't want to make too many strides, I guess, because you don't want to be, the person that they want to vote out. Like, I mean, there was people early on in the game that were voted out because they were quote unquote big threats. But there was also people that were in the game that got voted out because they were inactive to a point. So you just kind of want to play the middle ground, being, not active enough to where you're big, like you're gaming a lot, but you also don't want to be the person that gets voted out because you were never around, which are a couple of people that were are pre-jury. So it's just like I do agree with the take of being like his, like I'm just doing enough to just get by, but I gotta there goes in regard for me at least in these games like, the relationships you make on the first couple of days or where the case is, they set you up for the rest of the game, I think. I think it's tougher to have a relationship with someone on day, I don't know, 35 is than on day like 2 or 3. So I think, I at least prefer to do his relationships first thing. I'll do all the hard work first couple of days so it can help me down the road later on like day 35, 39, whatever the case may be.
Anyone else?
Wait, was this game 35 days? Oh, I thought that number was like
I just
maybe
made that up in
somewhere.
my
I was
head.
like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
It
Benji?
probably was.
No. Okay. Um, as we start moving forward, going into finale night, you don't have to say what question you plan on asking because we'll all be watching, and you don't want to reiterate the question you're bringing up during a roundtable. Um, what kinds of things do you want to hear from a finalist? Specifically, these finalists. Do you want them to grovel? I hope not, because I really like you people, and I would hope that you guys aren't going in there, trying to showboat. But do you want them to grovel? Do you want them to just own up to things somewhere in between? Do you want them to? Please don't ask this question. To close their eyes and say who they think they're going to get the votes from. How are you attacking this entire thing?
There, I can go because I've been MIA. Oh, just kidding.
No,
I
no,
was
no,
there.
Sabrina, you got it, got it.
All right. Sorry. I had to deal with some things. But anyways, um, I just want to hear like a very honest approach. Like I want this is the time to be open about what you did, what moves you made, owning up to things good or bad. Like I really just want to hear, I guess, what you would know if you were like a like I mean, I know it's not people don't view this in the same way as like actually Big Brother, but like if you were like in the audience, like I want to know what the other people are seeing because we kind of only see what they've shown us and what like we only know what they've shown us. We've heard things that other people have said, but we can't like guarantee it. So it just would be really nice for them to say like this is what I did, these were moves I made. um I usually like want to hear people owning up to things. Like I don't hold grudges from a jury standpoint. If someone says I this is why I made this move, and owns up to it, like in that case I wouldn't have any reason to be upset. So I'm very curious to see especially how it stacks up between like my perception of their game and then what they actually claim about their game.
Um, I was gonna say just like I feel like both of these finalists have inarguably started their game pretty silent, at least from me. I feel like Roberto's, I mean, granted, he works at night, so him and I were talking off and on. Staten and I were literally talking about like good mornings. It was nothing. So I'd like to see how they use that. Be like, I mean, like, how do they explain, like, yeah, I was in active boots until final six, and that was my game because I was under the radar, but like they never really were. I don't know. I kind of am interested to see how they play that. And then obviously like the relationships they built, which I think, again, from my experience, Roberto probably has the advantage on that.
And Benji just brought up in the chat, and I'm not a Big Brother person. I've watched maybe 4 seasons. But I do know, playing a lot of Big Brother orgs, that comp wins are a thing that people pay attention to. For you personally, and this doesn't have to be like a long-winded answer for any of you, do comp wins play a big part of how you are going to vote for this specific set of two people? I see 3 shakes of a head.
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
I'm looking at the overall game. I'm looking at the overall game, and um, like what was said, how they own up to their game. I know with one of them voted me out. Why'd they vote me out? Did they feel it was best for their game or what have you? So I'm looking at everything.
I will
And I
Okay. And
actually
so,
say,
start looking at everything as soon as if I make jury phase, I don't just play the game as a player. I also play it as a juror because I'm looking at everything to see, okay, who do I want to see win this game if I'm not the one in the final. So I look at everything.
Jake, go ahead.
I was gonna say I want to answer your last question, but also this question, but they're gonna be the same kind of. I'm gonna answer it the same answer, but it's gonna they both connect to it. That's what I'm gonna say. So you asked your last question was to Eric about what do you look for in a winner? I think was that the question, right? What was the question? I'm sorry, I'm like blanking right now on the spot.
Yeah, just what you personally are looking out of all of this.
Okay, so I would say I look
Because I think
for.
Sabrina answered it. I think Sabrina answered it very
No,
well.
I
So
agree. Yes, I want them to own their games as well, but I also want to see because there was a lot of majority votes. If they made a move, okay, was that your move or not? Because there's 8-7-0 on me, 6-0 on Gianna. So like, explain to me how this was your move. If you're claiming that your Gianna was your move, like explain how you were able to get these numbers on your side to get 6. Like it's not just as clear cut as that. So I want them to own their game as well. Like whether it was good or bad, I want them to explain any moves they had, and if you have comp wins, explain how you use that comp win to your advantage. Did you take out a person who was going for you on the block? Did you just kind of waste your time with your HOH? I want to know if you had any comp wins, did you use it to your advantage? If so, how did you use it to better your own game? I'd say so because Roberto won a couple, Steve won a couple, saying they both have some wins. So how do they use that to their advantage to get to that spot where they're both at right now?
okay, and all of y'all have been in jury for at least a day or less. This is more of a messy question, but it's fun. Whatever, get over it. Is there any? You don't have to say who, but is there anyone or any more than one of your fellow jurors that you are very anxious to hear how they ask a question because of how pissy or non-pissy they've been in the jury? I have not watched a jury, so I don't know who's pissy and who's not. Okay, so are there people in the jury that you're kind of anxious to see how they tackle this finale?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to say who?
I think because I would say Seb is someone I'm curious to how he approaches this because he was someone that's been very much um, adamant and vocal on the jury about why he got out and stuff like that. So I think there is a world where I have no clue what he's gonna say coming to this jury, whether he you know I think he was close to staying, so I would say maybe his vote's leaning that way, but I don't know how he's gonna approach this game because I mean, everyone voted out. His vote was, I'm pretty sure, unanimous as well. So it's like there's a chance that he could kind of explode on everyone. So I have no clue which way he's gonna go, and that's such one. I'm curious to see how he attacks and approaches this jury phase. Something like that.
I
Okay.
will say Seb's was the only vote that Seb said he wanted to go. It wasn't us saying, "Oh, we need to vote him out," because I was going to vote Evelyn out. I'm just saying that's what I was going to do. But Seb said, no, I really need to go. And that's the only reason why I even voted him out, because he said he wanted to go.
Anyone else nervous about anyone asking a question or just, you know, being a shitbag? I'm sweating. So as we start to wrap this up, well, one, did everyone enjoy themselves for the most part? And I, like I said, I know it sucks getting voted out. We've all done it. It's fine. But as long as everyone enjoyed themselves, prod that are here, it seems like everyone enjoyed their time here. I'm really excited to see how season 3 goes and how this finale goes. Before I get to my final question, uh, raise your hand if your vote is actually already decided.
50-50.
So no.
Like I'll say like 75-25, and depending on tomorrow, like there's definitely a chance for it to sway, but I think
I don't know any of Staten's game. I really don't. I want to hear Staten's game because I generally don't know his game, because I would say, because I was the second vote on jury. So at that point, I think Staten was still kind of going with the numbers, and I don't know his game because after, like, he kind of, like, I guess, like, Phoenix and kind of went, like, crazy on the challenges after I got voted. So I don't know any of his moves that were kind of like when I was in the game. So I want to know more about his game because I just don't know enough about his game to give him my vote yet. But I'm not saying he's not getting my vote. I just want him. I want to explain. I want him to explain his game more so I can understand where he's at the rest of the game.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a second question before my last question now. Are any of you shocked that this is the final 2?
Yes.
Absolutely. Both, or are you guys kind of like, okay, this person I kind of see?
I could kind of see Roberto. I'm really shocked to see Haley here.
Yes.
yeah, same. And I want to hear about that. I don't know if you talked about that before I got here, but I'm curious about
Haley's
that.
the biggest move.
Yeah.
I'm surprised this here too, because I was almost. We were all saying that Haley was a guaranteed final 2
Girl.
if there was ever a final 2 have ever hit this
Haley,
game.
you had my vote
Yes.
before the final.
But I think we all kind of agree that we all expected them to kind of take Haley to the end over the other person. So we were
I
all
wonder
kind
if
of
it was
shocked.
jury.
Yeah.
Because they knew Haley, everyone fucked with her. So, anyways, Haley, I'll let you talk.
Well,
The only reason that Roberto said that he took Staten over me was because he felt like Staten has pissed off the same amount of people with having to make moves. I obviously suck at comp stand when shit, so I never had to get blood on my hands.
I mean, hat tip to Haley, because it seems like he would have at least had a few votes here. But does that answer y'all's question about why? Okay. So then the final question is, going into finale, is there any type of bomb that someone could drop for you to say 100%, I am voting for you no matter what this person says from here on out, no matter how they answer these questions. If they say this one thing, or that if they did this, or if they, whatever, I am 100% voting for them. Is there that moment for any of you? Well, that was a horrible final question then. Um, yeah, hold on. Let me figure out another one then, so I can get some final thoughts, or I can just ask, "Hey, everyone, what are your final thoughts going into the finale?"
I'm going to really need Satan to show something, unfortunately. Great guy, but
I would say I want to see Satan explain that him being not as active, at least like this is purely, I guess, like he might have been active a lot more other people, but I'm saying for me at least he was not active until even, I don't say even merge time. He was just not inactive with me at least. So I want him. I wonder if that was with everyone, or if that was just with me, and if so, like was that a strategy? Like what was his kind of reasoning for, like did he mean to kind of take off and become this big threat down the stretch, or was this like kind of just luck, or was this like, hey, like if this is his game plan where he was like, I'm gonna go just coast to like the middle of the jury and get to where I'm at, and then just kind of take off and just show my comp prowess at the end, and if that's that, then he might get my vote at the end. I would say, but if he was just like luck and he just kind of lucked into it, then I'm probably not going to. But if that was like his game plan, where it's like I'm just gonna lay low and then kind of take off and be like a cobra at the end of the game, I'm he might get my vote. That's a killer game plan. That's very smart because you're not making any enemies. And at that point, you're kind of all you have to do is just win out, which is kind of what he did, and he kind of got himself to the end. So if that was his game plan, he might get my vote at the end. But if not, then it might not be. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, like I will say, I feel like he did get second a lot. Like I'm pretty sure every HOH that I won, I think Staten got second.
4 times he said.
Which is kind of funny. So it's kind of like I do like it's I don't think he was tanking anything in the beginning, but I don't know. I am curious to hear about, I mean, this is more personal for me. Like normally I try to not make it personal, but I am just curious because like Roberto said that his goal was to take me to final two again. No idea. I mean, both of them said that. But anyways, like, but I guess I'm wondering, like, supposedly the plan was that Roberto was gonna put up me and Haley, and then hopefully me or Roberto would win, take myself off, put up Satan, and get literally no idea if that's realistic or not. But I guess I would just be curious to hear like what was that plan actually. And honestly, if it was like I don't really care what the answer is. I just want to hear how it's answered, really.
I will say, Sabrina, he did mention to me asking, he was like, who do you want to go out this round, Timmy or Sabrina? And I said Timmy. So he was like, I won't take you down or out of veto to put Sabrina up.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know, like, at one point, Roberto just found you as, like, a threat.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's
But
not
yeah.
talking for him, just...
No, I know. And I just am curious to know that and to hear how that was like if it was a purposeful thing of his gameplay. But yeah.
I personally want them to own their games, own whatever moves they made. I want Roberto to explain to me why he voted me out. Why was I to vote out? Was it a majority thing, or was I actually like a big move? Because maybe I was a threat to their game. I don't know. So I would like that. That's my personal one for Roberto. But yeah, I just want them to own their games and why they did what they did. And as long as they can do that, then that will help me decide which one. Because like I said, I have no clue who I'm voting because I felt connected to both of them. So I have no clue where I'm voting right now.
One more thing I want to add on to this because I just remind me when Sabrina was talking about the case was about like allies and stuff like that. Like it's been a hot topic in the jury conversation, like Stan's like allies in this game or alliances in this game. So I want to hear like what alliances he was in, if anything, because from what I'm hearing, I don't know if he was in any alliances, if he was just in one-on-ones the entire season at all. And if he was, like, was that intentional or like because apparently he had a lot of final twos of people, which is just like I don't know who he had final two with, but that's kind of what I've been hearing a lot. Is like he had a final two with everyone, and it's just like, is that a move that he did intentionally? Because at the end of the day, it's like if you have final two with 8 people in the row in the jury except one, it's like why'd you go through with this person, not me? And typically that's a question that like I was not in the final two, so I don't know. I was not one of the final two, so I feel kind of just like left out with that. But I'm just like, if that was the case, like if that was the true, if he had a lot of final twos with people, how do they feel, and if it was that intentional or not? Because I think that would come back to bite you in the ass if you had like a lot of final twos if you're with people at that point. So I want to know more about his alliance, if anything, on when he explains the game as well. If he had any lines, then how many final twos he had, honestly, because I just don't know about that.
Haley, do you have anything?
What was the question? Sorry.
Is there anything that someone could say tomorrow that would 100% put you in their column no matter what else is said the rest of finale?
No.
I don't even think that was the final question, but okay. So wrapping this up, Benji, once again, thank you so much for asking me to do this. I'm having a rough weekend. I asked Benji all about it. But no, it seems like you guys really enjoyed your time here. I can't wait to potentially apply down the line. I'm really excited to actually watch finale. One question for the group: is there a drinking game?
We should do one.
Okay, thank you.
I'm down for that too.
Listen,
I
I
actually
will
love that
be
idea.
I will be
I still got one more
semi-coherent.
drink for my birthday, so yeah, I mean, I'm up for it.
Listen, I may or may not participate. You may or may not see me slur my words a finale night, but we'll see. But thank you, Denson,
Thank you so
for
much.
such a great time. Thank you for being here. And yes, I do hope to see an application down the line. I will be zoning, eagling for it every moment. But for my jury members, I will be sending out a poll for you tomorrow for what time finale works for everybody. If you cannot be there for any reason, and I mean like any reason, I would like all of you that are here right now to go in and put in your pre-vote while we're here.
What
So
time is it gonna
please,
be at?
I will send a poll to figure that out, but for now, on just the very rare chance that something happens, I would like for all of my jury members who are here to send in their pre-vote now.
Good luck, everyone.
So
Yes, we
once
love
I
the costume, Eric.
so once I do have that pre-vote from you, you are free to go.
Do you want us to message you in Zoom?
In your project, yes.